experience at Fantasia in Montreal. What do you think?
Fucking rocks!
So this is a pretty big audience over here.
Oh yeah, it's great. I'm really excited about it.
Cool.
And in case people need to take notes, we've got a little desk here.
Absolutely.
That's very nice.
So let's give it up to the director of the film. He's also featured in it. We know him from the Scream movies and Ready to Rumble and things like that. It's really it's been a long road. We're doing this film. Sorry about that. But I hope you enjoy it. I made it specifically with the genre audience in mind, with horror fans and slasher fans and comedy, and I did it with all my good friends. We filmed it in Santa Cruz last February in 21 days for $3.7 million, and we, I don't know, for some of you filmmakers, I don't know if that matters. But I just, I'm really excited for Canadians to see it specifically. I think it, you know, speaks to sort of your liberal side, which I think is sounder than our liberal side at this point in history. And I don't know, ever really. But I just thank you all for coming out tonight. I hope you enjoy the film.
From the warped mind of David Arquette. What do you think he's after?
Hippies.
On 420, prepare for a killer trip. The Tripper.
It's morning in America.
But I'm a Republican.
If you don't leave, you will die.
So sit in and tell us what the inspiration was for the Tripper.
Well, there was a lot of inspiration.
Well, there were a bunch of different ones. I grew up in California, where Reagan was governor, then president, and then when he made the cut to mental health, it was like overnight we saw not just like sort of your typical drunk out. We saw insane people on the streets. And, you know, we hung out in kind of a hoodie neighborhood, so they really sort of were there. You know, I mean, they were probably in Beverly Hills as much as they turned up right where we were all hanging out as kids running around and throwing firecrackers at them. Stupid, but it was like, out of nowhere, you know, the whole world had changed, and I didn't understand until my mother explained it to me. And then, so that was one portion of it. The other one was, there's a concert in Northern California in Humboldt County it used to be called Reggae on the River, but now it's called Reggae Rising. And it's happening pretty soon. It's every summer, and it's the biggest reggae festival in America. And it's incredible. So I was there, and I was with some friends, and we were wasted and sitting by the river, and you know, surrounded by redwoods, and the sun went down, and the stars were there. I was looking around at the hippies, and there was no lights. I was like, it'd be crazy if a psychopath came out and tried to hack all the peaceful kind of thoughts you had for me. So that was like that part of it, and then the other part, and then a friend, and he's from Birmingham, Alabama, and a friend had this Reagan mask, and he put it on, and I was like, whoa, that's scary. So I took it, and then I like snuck around outside, behind, put it all in the kitchen, and I popped up in the Reagan mask, and everyone was like, ah! So I was like, okay, it's definitely scary. So then I just wanted to make a political statement, and with sort of the extreme right and the left, and sort of, you know, a little bit of environment and all that, and that's pretty much where the whole thing came from.
Yeah, most horror films today aren't known for making political statements, but this one kind of wears it on its sleeve. Is that a concern at all, or it's something you want to just be out and proud with?
Yeah, well, there's so much like that the government's always, you know, a lot of governments are always complaining about violence in film, and you know, I think film, for the most part, is a reflection of society. So if you know, if they don't want violence in films, they might want to start, you know, showing the people that violence isn't acceptable in their life. You know, so until they start kind of doing that, I think there's almost more violence in film, the fake kind. That's kind of why I wanted to include like the pictures of the war at the beginning, the kid sort of, you know, watching real, you know, violence and, you know, learning from it. And that, you know, that, you know, we're really at a place right now that it's creepy and crazy, and, you know, so. And I also didn't want to make it too heavy-handed, and I did want to make a fun slasher comedy, you know, so. I think you can kind of try to do both. I mean, it's a weird balance, but.
You wore a lot of hats on this movie, co-writer, producer, director, had a small acting role. Was it tough to juggle all that on for your directorial debut?
Yeah, I mean it was. I mean I was fortunate because just having worked and having, you know, my wife helped me immensely in producing it. She really sort of made it a reality and brought it all together, and got behind me and believed in me. And you know, when some other producers were going to be doing it, she was like, no, you know, you can't do it with those guys. You got to do your vision. And I don't know, it's crazy, because first I went to Thomas Jane, my brother-in-law, she's married to Patricia, and I gave him the script and said, check it out, you know, tell me what you think. And he has a company called Raw Entertainment, and he liked it. And I wanted him to play the part, and I said, what do you think about it? And he was just down for it. He's got a partner too named Steve Niles, who's big in the horror world. He's a great writer. He's got 30 Days of Night coming out. And they together, sort of with me, Courtney, and those two, we had a foundation to sort of build on. And then I went to all of my other friends, which is sort of easy because I do have those connections, and I kind of can get people to work for, you know, less than they typically would be paid for a film. But I also, you know, I cut people in if it ever makes it nice. but it, you know, so that was the sort of foundation of it, and then once we had that core group, and then I went out to Paul Rubens and Lukas, Haas and Balthazar, Getty, all people I'd worked with and some of my best friends. And I gave it to them, and they like looked at their schedule and said they could make it work. And then Jaime came on board, and I can't like thank her enough, because she really was the sort of glue that brought it all together. I really needed somebody who could be like that, you know, damsel in distress. That's the stupidest. But like the heroine of the film, and then Jason Mewes was sort of the last piece of the puzzle to come in that could, you know, help with all financing.
Distribution for the film has been kind of spotty so far. How does Montreal Fantasia's reaction and attendance compare to what you've screened so far?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, we've had some great screenings, but this is definitely one of them. And you know, it's really great when you screen it for people that love the genre and sort of get the jokes, and because some people don't.